grab his collar, throw him to the floor, straddle him, and then roll around a little bit, and then maybe you kiss. Maybe your lips just suddenly lock together. Why, hello there, Internet. Welcome back to my sector of cyberspace, now with upgraded audio so that I may bless your ears with the sound of my voice. That's right! If you're wondering why it took me forever to get this last part out, I was waiting for all the stuff to come in, so I am so excited to be recording this, finally, with all of my new stuff. I got a boom arm, I got the audio interface, I got a better mic, so yeah, she is in her audio era. Now, I am still learning how to edit everything better for y'all, but we're at a better starting point, and I am ecstatic. I was at the point where I was sticking my microphone in an upside down cup to try and keep it steady, so it was overdue. So let's get into it. Today is the final part of my CAS challenge series where I am taking the headcanons from SYDMAC's New Money versus Old Money series and smashing them together with the play Romeo and Juliet. Now, if you're extremely confused, I have a much more in-depth explanation of what I am up to in my first part of this series, which I will link below. If you would love to see the builds that are inspiring all these characters, see SYDMAC's original series, which I have also linked below. And there's 2 parts, so I will link both. So last time we finished up the Capulet/New Money family, meaning I took the Capulet family from the play and mixed them with the New Money headcanons from SYDMAC series. So today we will be doing the Montague family, also the Old Money family. So here's a quick review of the headcanons I found in the Old Money videos to go off of. So our main sim, our Romeo, was described as a, quote, frat boy son who also DJs. The family might be vampires. The family culture is generally unfriendly. One of the parents is scholarly, and the younger sibling is a nosy little sister who is always trying to get Romeo in trouble. Now I have all the footage here, and I have sped it up to 12 times speed, and I will be watching it with you and just giving my commentary like last time. So, ready? Set, play. Hi, hello, Editing Alice here. So the other reason this video took so long is through this process, I actually have completely switched gears on how I wanted to do this video. Well, you see, I tried for so long to edit this video together, but even I found it boring, and I feel like the first 2 vids on this series isn't what I wanted, and I thought a lot about why, and it's because I just don't care. I don't care enough about the fashion to sit here and ramble for the amount of footage that I have. So I realized what actually impassions me about showing off my work for this is the stories and the crazy headcanons and the shit I think they should get up to in our upcoming gameplay challenge. So I'm going to actually ramble about all my story ideas and headcanons. Like, this is the elevator pitch for my live stream. So, enjoy some free advertising. And let's get into it. Now, this household was more difficult because I had less to go off of in the headcanon department, and there were more males. So that's obviously stylistically complicated and characteristically mysterious. Oh, and also especially in the Old Money genre, like how do I make them likable when they're rich? Like, I hate them already. And without the headcanons, that means I was taking more from the play. And when I really started thinking about the play itself, because, it is a tragedy, I realized how these characters probably, like, the direction I want to take these characters is actually a lot more dark and chaotic. And gameplay-wise, that actually makes me quite excited. But I realized I needed to stop trying to like these characters. For example, can we just talk about Romeo for a second? Like, this man comes out here and he's like, I'm so in love with this girl, Rosaline, that I want to go to this party so I can go chase her down. And then in the middle of the party, he's like, never mind, I found my true love. I just looked at this girl who I can't even see her face because she has a mask on. But I am in love, and I would die for this girl. And I'm going to like stalk her and go and like sing to her on a balcony. Like, bro, first of all, you're weird. Second of all, you're a fool. Third of all, you're ridiculous. Sit down. Like, actually sit down and think about your life choices. When you look at the play as a whole, Rosaline objectively wins the entire situation. But like, who is she? We don't know. We never even see her. And yet, she chose not to play, and she's the only bitch alive. Coincidence? I think not. And let me just sprinkle some side lore in here. There was actually another headcanon for the Old Money family that I did not include. There was a mention of a maid who steals money off the money trees in the build. So maybe there's room to bring Rosalie into the mix. Just a thought, just, think about it. If you want to see that, let me know. And if Rosaline, this girl that he's obsessed with at the beginning of the play, is their maid, I imagine she's like either his age or just a little bit older. So maybe she's trying to get through college and that's why she's a maid working there. But also the fact that he is in love with her and also part of her employment is a very, very interesting, possibly toxic situation that I am intrigued about exploring that possibly. So I started to look at this story from a much darker perspective, and considering the content I've planned for this channel, I am okay with that. I think that is actually staying on brand for this channel. So now I'm theorizing, right? Bonnie and Clyde, lovers who are toxic together, die together. I had planned a vague, like, get away and live happily ever after end goal, but, like, it is a tragedy. So, we gotta kill them, right? And, anyway, if you want to pressure me into murdering Romeo and Juliet, come check me out on Twitch. And more on that in a minute, but also, side note, while I was high at a bar writing this transcript, I realized I had never created two side characters, actually. The first being, Rosaline, who may or may not be part of our story, and Paris, or my version of Paris, who is actually important to the story, so I will be making him off camera. So I decided to write down quickly some aesthetic headcanons for each. For Rosaline, I have written down here, quote, tatted gothic queen, chokers, piercings, chains, fishnets, large boots. Monster High LOL. As for our Paris character, I will be naming him Francisco, the son of a drug cartel, whom Juliet's mother is trying to get her to marry as a political alliance. And, for his aesthetic, I wrote down, quote, Latino gardening bohemian femboy, crop top, jeans, boots, necklace, curly hair, beanie, hot weather gardening apron. Yep. Yeah, that's the full thing. For context, I was at a gay bar when I wrote this, and looking back on it, I think that is clearly obvious, but I'm still all for it. I'm going all in with it. So look forward to that, because I'm not changing it. Yeah. Anyway, I will be making those characters and will reveal them live on Twitch, where I will be starting this gameplay challenge. A few people in my life have suggested it recently, and honestly, instead of editing an entire video together, I would love to play with you guys so that you can give your input on how you want this dark tragedy to play out. So, if I can get my shit together about a month from now, we will do a test run and open in on Act 1, Make the Parents Beef. Now, obviously, at the beginning of the play, the parents already hate each other, but come on, it's The Sims, man. It would be way more fun to get them all to declare enemies of each other. Not sure who I want to main for that part of the story yet. I might let chat decide. Among the options, we have a scholarly snob who we are actually looking at right now. This is Romeo's mother. Her name is Isabella, and her traits... I ended up changing traits of a lot of characters, by the way, so don't trust the footage. Ultimately, her traits became bookworm, neat, high maintenance, art lover, and a snob. I think she might own an art gallery because, lots of money, because she does actually have a history degree. So this is For SYDMAC's headcanons, this is our scholarly parent. We could also main her husband, Giovanni Montague, who there wasn't any headcanons for the dad, but I decided to lean heavily on the vampires. So he's very eccentric. He has the old money aesthetic and like stuck in Victorian times, so he used a lot of vampires pack. And he was a vampire who I headcanon converted Isabella. Like, she used to be a human, because you'll notice Romeo is actually not a vampire. The rest of the family is, but not him. And that's kind of to play on being the black sheep of the family. I talked about in the other videos that Juliet's the black sheep and that she's a very techie family, and yet she's a creative. And Romeo's got the opposite going on. He is the only human in a family of vampires, because I'm thinking like Giovanni is a vampire, ends up getting Isabella pregnant. Of course they have to marry because he impregnated her. Romeo is born a human. He turns Isabella, and then their second child, Romeo's little sister, who we will see soon, ends up being a vampire because now Isabella's turned. And so he's human, which I think, to me, I think that actually explains a lot of like why he gets away with stuff, because they kind of look down on him, right? Like, oh, poor baby, he won't live forever. He's just a poor little human. And so they let him get away with stuff. Like, he's gotta do whatever he wants in his short life. Meanwhile, his sister is like, you're our family legacy. Like, you're gonna live forever along with us. So get your shit together. More on that in a minute. But there's that aspect, and then also he is going for an economics degree, while this is the Brightchester side of the family. The Capulets are a Foxbury family. Our Montague is the Brightchester. So all of them have creative degrees except for Romeo. So he's also black sheep in that way. And that is kind of my way of headcanon how Romeo and Juliet kind of like connect, like what they both feel like outcasts in their family. So Giovanni, back to him. I wrote down here he is a, quote, eccentric patsy in denial. His traits are dramatic, ambitious, perfectionist, snob, erratic. Definitely very old, very set in his ways, very stern with the kids, and also just a little crazy. So for Act 1 here, we could either main this snob duo or the mafia queen and her golden retriever trophy husband. Now, the question, of course, then becomes, why do they hate each other? There's already a headcanon that it should involve some sort of power money grab. But the other reason that comes to mind is, of course, cheating. But I'm honestly not interested in that kind of storyline for this. And I put a lot of thought into that when I suddenly had a brain blast. Again, a high at the bar while writing this. So, story time. Those shady old money bastards, one of them has a drug habit. I'm thinking Lady Montague here, owes the resident mafia, our Capulet family, a bunch of money, but they don't pay up. So Queen Badass hacks into the money and takes what she's owed. And perhaps Giovanni finds the money missing and grills one of the kids for the secret, who only knows that Mom has visited the Capulets a lot. Probably Benedetta, who we'll get to, but she is literally all up in Romeo's business and is a nosy sim, so that would make a lot of sense. But obviously nothing is ever Isabella's fault, so he confronts Antonio Capulet, and Antonio's like, I don't know, nothing to do with me, that's my wife's business. And Giovanni goes off. He's like, you're a liar, and then like a bunch of other nasty insults, and Antonio's like, dude, you're pissing me off, bro. Back off. I am a pro athlete. I will kick your ass. Giovanna's like, you threatening me? You lowly human scum. So then he shoots him. Blow, obviously. Because, I mean, yeah, he heals fast because vampire, but like if he had gotten his face rearranged, that blood could have gotten on his perfectly good suit. So blast his ass. And then, depending on Antonio's fate, E-Mommy will be out for blood. No one messes with her beloved golden retriever trophy husband. Yep, true love right there. And yes, of course I have extreme violence installed, so we could actually shoot him. Amazing. But enough about them. We are now on to Bernadette, who is my absolute favorite in this family. She is the nosy little sister sibling. So she did get the nosy trait. And I did want all of them to at least have flaws. Like, the parents have more flaws than the others, but they do all have flaws. So she is nosy, as well as inquisitive, proper, and jealous. And all of those I think are perfect for her. First of all, she's going to become a lawyer. That is her degree. So inquisitive, of course, which also kind of goes along with nosy. So Bernadette's whole thing is, her dynamic with Romeo is that she's jealous of him. He gets away with stuff. And she holds herself to a high standard. You know, she is proper. She feels the weight of expectations from her parents. She feels the weight of expectations on her from her parents. And instead of realizing that she should let go of those expectations, which would be arguably much healthier, she decides to take that out on Romeo and try to get him to be punished for not living up to the same standards as her. So she's jealous. She's jealous of him because he's so carefree. But obviously, he's carefree as a kind of a defense mechanism, right? Like, his parents don't value him the same. They look down on him, but also baby him, but also let him get away with shit. You know, like, they don't care as much. And so I imagine maybe his mischievous behavior is a way to get attention. Maybe he just pretends he doesn't care because it doesn't seem like his parents care whatever he does because he's a human. And Bernadette instead has reacted by being jealous, which, by the way, I did take the name from Fire Emblem, but she's supposed to be Benolio, however that name is pronounced. Oh my god. So the fact that it was very similar start to the name I thought was perfect. However, where the play's version of Benvolio is like Romeo's friend, our lovely Bernadetta here kind of goes back and forth. Like, I don't think necessarily they hate each other. There is a love there somewhere. But yeah, you know that as soon as she figures out that Romeo and Juliet are seeing each other behind their parents' back, you know she's gonna tattle. She is 100% like, this is some juicy ass tea, and I'm about to spill it everywhere, and you're gonna be in so much trouble. So she is actually kind of a enemy, at least from Romeo's point of view. But I like it. He's already got our next sim as a friend, so it's not like he's friendless. And we embrace the darker sides of things. The girls are in their villain era, and we're bringing Bernadette along for the ride. Now, I do remember that there was a brief idea that SYDMAC proposed that maybe part of her jealousy is she also has a crush on Juliet. So, you know, that's also up for consideration. I think I would pair her with somebody else. In fact, I have ships for all of the young adult characters that we have here. Obviously Romeo and Juliet. But maybe part of her beef with Romeo is actually how he keeps pursuing Rosaline. And she's slowly but surely falling for the older maid figure in her life that keeps telling her, yo, you gotta just chill. You gotta just let go of whatever Romeo is doing. Like, focus on yourself. You should not give a shit about whatever the hell he's up to. Live your own life. Be happy with yourself. And honestly, who wouldn't fall for a goth queen? So maybe that's what's going on. I feel like that's a possible road to go down. And now it's time for our last sim. So this is also a character I really like. In the play, his name is Mercutio, and he is the nephew character. Each family in the play has a nephew. And actually, those nephews end up fighting each other, and Mercutio is the one who goes out first and is like, I'm done with this shit. He's like, yep, I'm gonna go out and murder Tybalt, actually. And ends up dying instead. Tybalt kind of shows him what's for. So in our version, obviously, Mars, I named him Mars. Mars is a hothead, of course. Because honestly, who does that? Who is like, our parents have beef and I hate this guy and yeah, I'm just gonna risk going to jail. Like, I'm just gonna take my sword and I'm gonna go murder him, like, right now. Like, bro, you sit down right next to Romeo and think about what you did. Yeah. But I really like this character, or at least my version of this character. His name is Mars. He's a hothead, obviously. And he is also charming, creative, active, and a bro. So him and Romeo are definitely close buds. He is also a player, as Romeo. I feel like Romeo's definitely had his player days, but then he's more into like the fantasy of romance, and so he falls easily, which, by the way, I ended up giving him the love bug trait specifically because of that. Meanwhile, Mars is more than happy to just play the field. He doesn't want no strings. Same Mars. I'm with you. So he's he's a bit of a slut, I'm gonna be real. And you can see that through his fashion choices, actually. He's anti-shirt. So anytime I could find an open shirt, obviously, and with those muscles, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't never wear a shirt? Honestly, doing the world a favor. So, I see Mars as Romeo's best bud, who also doesn't take no shit. He has low tolerance for bullshit, and I'm not really sure what his beef with Tyrone would be. Like, I just gave you this whole elaborate storyline for the parents, but, like, why do they have beef? Who knows? Maybe I don't know. Actually, you know what? I got it. He's mad because Tyrone's hot, actually. And Mars is a player because he's in denial that he's gay. He's gay as hell. And he really wants some piece of that chocolate Tyrone, but that would take admitting that he's gay. So no homo, bro. And I mean, come on, guys. He's just a tsundere, okay? He likes somebody, and that means being mean to them. That's just, you can't admit that you like them. That would be crazy. You being open and honest about your nah. Let's bully them till they cry. That's actually a better response. Maybe even punch them. Like, when you see such an attractive face like Tyrone, he's hot, he's smart, he knows tech things, like, infuriating, absolutely infuriating. Punch him in the face, break his nose. I know you're just misunderstood in the world, Mars, but don't worry, I got your back, bro. I agree. I feel like Tyrone should not be allowed to be that attractive, and shout at him relentlessly, especially because is he looking at Francisco's ass right now? How fucking dare he? Doesn't he know that I'm secretly in love with him? That's absolute. Fight him right now. Grab his collar, throw him to the floor, straddle him, and then roll around a little bit, and then maybe you kiss. Maybe your lips just suddenly lock together because you meant to headbutt him, actually. Not kiss him. That totally didn't happen. And then when he kissed you back, you just had to because he started it, honestly. And it's not your fault when you wake up beside him in bed the next morning. Totally not. And you were just drunk. It was a masquerade ball. How were you? Honestly, you didn't even know. And you should book it out of there. But also a couple days later, how dare he not call you? Not that you wanted him to call. Just that hurt, and he doesn't even check on you, just uses you like that. Like, not that you want to hear from him. No, totally not. Absolutely not. You're a player. You don't get feelings. Like, that's crazy. And that calls for revenge on the guy that you were totally not crushing on. Duh. Also, last headcanon, I think he's a chef. Yeah, that's what I think he's going to school for. On to the montage. I tried to go in a different direction with this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed it because I definitely enjoyed making it a lot more. I think focusing on the gameplay I want to do is a lot more where my interest is at. I mean, that's why this whole thing started. Did you enjoy some of these storyline ideas? Do you have some of your own? Please, as always, leave your suggestions in the comments or join our Twitch stream. I am so excited to play with you guys and make some of these storylines come to life. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. As a very small creator, it would do a lot for me, and I really appreciate if you got this far. I had to change editing software due to some issues with the one I was using, which resulted in trying to animate these title cards myself, and it took forever, and they're still jank. So, as it turns out, DaVinci Resolve is a bit complicated, especially its animation capabilities in Fusion. It's like you have to like put boxes together in like a whole little graph situation and then edit all of its settings, and then if you want it to dynamically change its time, then you have to like make equations with it, and I'm really excited. I want to learn it, but it is a very steep learning curve. So, thank you for supporting my work, and I'll see you in the next one.